of where they live in Europe are being told that institutions are their only option, or are not being told about what independent living means, and that is a problem. In preparation for coming to speak today, I asked the Youth Network what were the key issues that they wanted me to talk about. And regardless of what countries people came from, there were some key issues that came across from the whole group. The first is deinstitutionalisation. We want to be able to live in our communities, to be part of our communities, and to contribute to our communities. And I think it's really important to stress that contributing to our communities is not just the monetary contribution that we make through employment, it's also the contribution that we make to our society and our community as a whole. And I think too often we get caught up in whether someone is financially contributing to their community. And actually, there are lots of different ways to contribute. And lots of disabled young people are volunteering, which is not necessarily a good thing in terms of wanting employment, but they're contributing in other ways, and that needs to be valued. Another thing that is a really big issue for us is attitudes towards disabled people. We want to be in a position where, when you say you're proud to be disabled, the reaction that you get is not, what? We want to be in a position where our identity is as acceptable as any other identity, where it's acknowledged as a political identity and not a recognition of deficit. It's actually something that we can be proud of. And to do that, we need to change how society views disabled people. Another big thing that came out was actually around the treatment of certain impairment groups, particularly those who are deemed as not having capacity. I often think that when we talk about capacity, and whether you have it or not, it's actually, are you being asked the right question in a way that's accessible to you? Because everybody can make a decision. It's just that not everyone can make the same kind of decision. The two big things that came out of more than anything else were inclusive education. Because if we don't have access to inclusive education, it makes the mainstream society think that we're different and we're special. And while we can be amazing and we can be inspirational, it should not be because we're disabled people. It should be because we're being the individual that we want to be. And actually, if you have education, it enables you to access so many doors that at the moment, for a lot of disabled people, are closed to them. And then employment. In this situation of austerity, where not only is funding not being put into place for support, but actually funding that exists is being taken away, employment is becoming a bigger and bigger deal, because actually if you can access money, then you can help tackle some of the inequalities you face. But if you can't access money, then it becomes even more difficult to overcome the barriers that we have. One of the big things that, and it relates to the point made earlier by the member of the Greek Centre for Independent Living, we need to reconceptualise with the general public and mainstream society what we mean by independence, because there is this myth that independence is doing everything for yourself. And I when I sit and talk to non-disabled people about what independence means in an independent living concept, the first thing I say is, okay, you're fully independent, are you? Because you can do everything for yourself. Oh, there's a power cut. Your water stopped running. Are you still independent? And actually, we need to recognise that, disabled or not, we are all dependent on structures. We all rely on one another. And actually, if you start to look at interdependence rather than dependence, and then your idea about